The Zyra Collective had explored thousands of planets, but none excited them like the ruins on Cathara Prime. The desert world's surface was cracked and dry, yet buried beneath the sand were stone structures older than any recorded history. The collective scientists believed these ruins belonged to the ancient Starborn, a mysterious race that had vanished eons ago. But now, among the broken temples and rusted towers, they discovered something that would change the galaxy forever. Valor, a young and ambitious researcher, wiped the dust off a bronze panel. Strange symbols glowed faintly beneath his fingers. "This isn't just a ruin," he whispered. "It's a vault. A hibernation vault. And I think we've just found what the Elders warned us about." The Elders were the ruling council of the collective, wise beings who had survived more than 10,000 cycles. They often spoke in riddles, but their message on this matter had been clear. Do not awaken them. Humanity must sleep. The consequences are beyond reckoning. Valor frowned. He had heard the warnings countless times, yet he had never believed them. Humanity sounded like a myth, an old story told by a forgotten species, exaggerated and feared because no one could understand it. "Valor, do you understand what you're touching?" asked one of his colleagues. Lyra, her voice trembling. "The Elders didn't forbid this lightly. There is a reason. A very serious reason." Valor looked at her, his eyes burning with curiosity. "And what if the reason is just fear? Fear of something ancient? I think it's time we see for ourselves." Lyra shook her head. She had studied the archives for decades, reading every fragment about humanity. They had vanished thousands of years ago, leaving only stories of their immense power. They were called DEATHWORLDers, capable of surviving any environment, defeating enemies 10 times their size, and using technology the collective couldn't even imagine. That was enough to frighten even the Elders. Valor ignored her. He activated the panel, and a low hum echoed through the sandstorms. The vault began to open. Metal doors slowly slid aside, revealing a dimly lit chamber. At its center lay a massive structure, a warship unlike anything the collective had seen. Sleek, angular, and imposing, it seemed to almost pulse with life. Valor stepped closer. This is amazing," Lyra gasped. "Valor, we shouldn't. We have no idea what this is capable of." But Valor had already begun scanning the ship's systems. Lights flickered, and a low mechanical growl filled the chamber. Panels on the walls activated, and the hum became louder, resonating through the floor. Suddenly, a voice boomed from the ship's interior. It was deep, calm, and commanding. "System online. Awakening protocols initiated." Lyra stumbled back, her claws gripping the edge of a console. "Oh no. Valor, you've done it," the voice continued, seemingly aware of every movement in the chamber. "Unauthorized activation detected. Origin of activation. Zyra Collective. Assessing threat level. Moderate. Stand by." Valor's heart raced. "It's talking." Lyra shook her head in disbelief. "Not talking. Judging." The hum grew into a roar as machinery inside the warship began to awaken. Its weapons systems activated. Sensors scanned the planet, then the stars. It was learning, observing, calculating. The very air seemed to vibrate with power. Valor was mesmerized. He approached the ship cautiously. "Hello? We are scientists. We mean no harm." The ship's voice softened slightly. "Non-hostile intent detected. However, origin species does not match operational parameters. Security protocols engaged." Lyra grabbed Valor's arm. "We have no idea what those parameters are. We shouldn't be here." But it was too late. The vault's activation had sent a signal across the stars. Satellites buried deep in orbit began transmitting. Lights blinked in the distance. The galaxy was starting to notice. Back in the Elder Council chambers, The warnings came too late. Elder Thavik, his crystalline eyes widening in horror, shouted across the room, "Valor, stop it! You cannot awaken them!" But Valor didn't hear him. He was inside the vault, staring at the warship's hull. Patterns of energy ran across its surface, moving almost like veins. Then, the ship's massive bay doors opened, revealing the interior. Inside were rows of stasis pods. One of them contained a figure in suspended animation. The figure was human. Its features were strong, sharp, and calm even in slumber. The elders had warned that humans could survive in the harshest conditions, adapt to any environment, and even endure wars that would destroy entire civilizations. Yet, Valor didn't realize how terrifying this awakening truly was. A panel lit up near the pod. It displayed the name Admiral Rhea Calder. Valor felt a chill. "So, this is the commander?" he whispered. The warship's voice spoke again, deeper now, as if recognizing the human inside. "Crew, awaken. Prepare for command," the stasis pod hissed. Rhea's eyes opened slowly. For a moment, she simply observed. Then she looked directly at Valor. Not with anger, not with fear, but with calculation. "Who activated me?" she asked, her voice calm but carrying authority that made Valor's knees tremble. Valor stammered, I did. I wanted to see if humans were real." Rhea's eyes narrowed. "The elders warned you." "Yes, but I wanted to know." Rhea sat up, her movements precise and controlled. Around her, the ship's systems hummed and adjusted, as if responding to her presence. "Do you understand what you've done?" I thought humanity was a myth," Valor admitted. Rhea's gaze swept across the chamber. "Humans are never a myth. They are a warning and a promise. You have just decided whether your world will live or die." Outside, the first alien scouts approaching CosmicAdventures detected the warship's activation. They panicked and sent warnings to nearby systems. Intelligence reports flashed across screens. A human warship, long thought extinct, had reactivated. In the council chamber, the elders debated frantically. Elder Thavik's voice cracked. "Valor has unleashed the humans. This is catastrophic. We sealed them for a reason." Elder Kira spoke, her tone calmer but no less fearful. "The humans were never defeated. They chose to disappear. The galaxy is unprepared for their return." But Valor, still in the vault, barely registered the warnings. He was frozen in awe, staring at the ship's interior, at the sleeping crew, at the stasis pods. The warship itself seemed alive, its systems awakening like a predator stretching after a long sleep. Then, without warning, a loud hum echoed across CosmicAdventures. The ship's thrusters flared. In a single motion, it lifted from the surface and entered orbit, scanning every direction. Its sensors mapped the planet, the stars, and everything between. Valor could barely comprehend the scale. It's so huge." Lyra grabbed his arm again. "Valor, do you realize what you've done? Every fleet in this sector is going to notice. The warnings, the legends, they will all come alive now." The warship's voice spoke once more, calm and commanding. "Humanity, awakening. Threat assessment. Galaxy, unstable." Valor's heart pounded. He realized, at last, that the elders' warnings were not about fear or superstition. They were about power, and consequences no one dared to face. In the distance, alien scouts began transmitting messages in panic. "Human warship. Reactivated. Unknown power levels. Advise. Immediate evacuation." 7. The message spread like wildfire. The galaxy, which had long believed humanity was gone, would soon understand the truth. Humans were never weak, never extinct, and never to be underestimated. Valor looked at the human commander again. We didn't know, he said. Rhea Calder's eyes hardened. Ignorance is no excuse. And now, the galaxy will learn. You have awakened humanity. And we are always ready. The Zyra Collective watched in awe and fear. Something had changed in the galaxy. Something ancient and powerful had stirred. The humans were awake, and no one, not even the elders, could stop what came next. The warship UNS Valiant orbited CatharaPrime like a sleeping giant that had finally opened its eyes. Its hull gleamed under the twin suns, reflecting the deserts below. Systems hummed, energy pulses crackled, and the ship's AI, Atlas, ran diagnostics at speeds no alien computer could match. Inside the command chamber, Admiral Rhea Calder stood tall, her posture precise, her eyes scanning the holographic star maps. She was no longer the figure in suspended animation. She was awake, fully alert, and commanding every system aboard the Valiant. "Status report," she ordered, her voice calm but firm. Atlas responded instantly. Its voice deep, smooth, and mechanical. All systems operational. Defensive protocols online. Threat assessment. High. Nearby fleets detected. Multiple alien species converging on this system. Probability of hostile engagement, 79%. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Prepare to intercept. But I want no unnecessary destruction. Identify all contacts first. Valor, still aboard as the first alien to see humanity in action, felt the floor shake under the Valiant's power. He had thought the humans were myths. Weak or gone. He was wrong. Terribly wrong. "Commander." "The fleets are responding," Valor stammered. "They're sending messages. They want to know if you are hostile." Rhea turned to him, her gaze steady. "Let them ask. Our presence is enough to remind the galaxy what they once feared. Prepare communications." Valor tried to follow her calm composure. But the scale of the moment hit him like a thunderbolt. From orbit, the Valiant was unstoppable. It was a living fortress, dormant for thousands of years, now fully awake and assessing the stars. The first response came from a nearby alien empire, the Draxian fleet. Their message flashed across the holographic screen. "Identify yourselves. Unknown warship approaching. State purpose. Or prepare for destruction." Rhea's lips curved slightly. She keyed the communication channel. Her voice was smooth, deliberate, almost magnetic. "I am Admiral Rhea Calder of the United Nations Starfleet. Humanity has returned. Stand down. We are not here to conquer. Yet we are prepared for all threats." The Draxian commander's eyes widened as the translation reached his screen. His ships trembled under the Valiant's scanning pulse. "Impossible," he muttered. "Humanity. They shouldn't exist." Valor could barely believe it himself. You didn't even fire yet. And they're terrified." Rhea's gaze didn't waver. "The galaxy knows the truth now. Fear is natural. Respect follows." Meanwhile, alien scouts reported back to their empires. Panic spread like wildfire. Stories passed down for millennia about humanity, the DEATHWORLDers, the unstoppable warriors. The masters of any environment were no longer myths. They were alive, awake, and fully capable. At the same time, the Valiant scanned CatharaPrime itself. Its sensors detected energy signatures buried deep underground satellites, automated defense systems, and dormant war machines from humanity's ancient era. The ship began to integrate them into its own systems. Within hours, it had a power output far beyond anything the Zyra Collective had ever seen. Lyra, observing the process from the secondary deck, whispered to Valor, "They're upgrading themselves from technology that's over 10,000 cycles old." Valor could only nod. "I thought we were studying humans. I didn't know we'd be helping them awaken." Rhea's voice cut across the deck. "Status update. All systems online. Defensive shields at maximum. Long-range sensors active. Preparations for engagement complete. Begin preliminary scans of all alien fleets within 5 light-years. The Valiant's sensors lit up with hundreds of contacts. Draxian, Zyra, and other minor factions converging toward CosmicAdventures. Either out of curiosity, fear, or intent to strike first. The humans had not yet fired a shot. Yet they had already turned the galaxy upside down. In orbit above CosmicAdventures, small Draxian fighters approached cautiously. Their weapons scanned the Valiant. But Rhea's ship did not fire. Instead, the Valiant's communication system transmitted a single message in perfect Draxian. "This is humanity. We are awake. Your actions will determine your survival." The fighters hesitated. Their pilots were trained for battle, yet they had never faced anything like this. Each fighter's systems recorded the Valiant's massive energy output, its weapon systems, and the speed of its response calculations. It was impossible to comprehend. One pilot broke formation. "We cannot fight them. They're too powerful." Meanwhile, the Zyra collective debated frantically in orbit. Elder Thavik's voice shook. "Valor, you have doomed us. We underestimated them. Humanity is not merely alive. They are prepared. They are aware." Valor's hands shook. I just wanted to see." Elder Kira's voice was cold. The Elder's warnings were not idle threats. Humanity's awakening will reshape everything. The galaxy is not ready. But they are. Rhea observed the panic calmly. "Prepare to receive all communications. We will listen first. Aggression will only be met with precision, not brutality. But understand this. We do not fear battle. We anticipate it, we plan it, and we will end it efficiently." Hours passed. Alien fleets sent envoys, warning others to retreat. But the Valiant's presence alone caused hesitation. Word spread across the sectors like wildfire. Humans had returned. Then came the first real test. A pirate consortium, eager to claim the ancient warship for themselves, launched a small fleet toward CosmicAdventures. Their ships were armed and fast, confident they could overwhelm anything they encountered. Rhea did not panic. She allowed them to approach. As the first pirate cruiser entered the Valiant's scanning range, the ship's weapons systems hummed and powered up. Lasers charged, railguns readied, and automated defense drones deployed silently. The pirates laughed, thinking the warship was old, perhaps even empty. Then the Valiant fired a single shot, a precision strike that destroyed the lead cruiser without warning. The other ships froze. Valor gasped. It destroyed the ship. In one shot." Lyra's jaw dropped. That's impossible. There are hundreds of them." Rhea turned to Valor. "They will learn quickly. Humanity does not wait for chaos to reach its door. We define the boundaries. Now, communicate to the fleets. The humans will defend themselves. But do not mistake defense for aggression." Said. Messages flashed across space. Alien fleets halted, recalculated, and feared what they did not understand. It was the first demonstration of humanity's power, and it was deliberate, calculated, precise, and terrifying. But Rhea knew this was only the beginning. The ancient archives had warned of a threat returning, a force that had once nearly consumed the galaxy. The Void Swarm. Its signals were weak but detectable, drifting across the stars. Humanity had not vanished. It had hidden to prepare for this eventuality. Valor, now realizing the true scale of what he had done, asked, "Commander, why didn't you attack the fleets already?" Rhea's eyes gleamed with purpose. "Because there is a difference between fear and respect. The galaxy will know humanity is back. They will see our power. But our true purpose is not conquest. It is survival. We defend life, and soon, the threat that required our disappearance will return. Then, humanity will be needed more than ever." The alien fleets continued to hover at a distance. Some sent envoys, others considered retreat. The Valiant remained still in orbit, scanning, preparing, learning. Its presence alone changed the political landscape. Humans were no longer myths, legends, or lost warriors. They were here, fully awake, and capable of deciding the fate of countless worlds. As night fell on CosmicAdventures, the twin suns setting in blood-red skies, Valor finally understood. The elders were right. Humanity should not have been awakened. Yet here they were, alive, aware, and more powerful than anyone could have imagined. Rhea Calder stood on the command deck, her eyes scanning the stars. We will not strike without reason, but the galaxy will remember this day. Humanity has returned, and no one can ignore it. The hum of the Valiant echoed through space, a sound that spoke of power, strategy, and ancient strength. The galaxy trembled, not because humans were cruel, but because they were unpredictable, unstoppable, and fully prepared. And as the fleets watched from a distance, they began to realize the truth. Humanity had returned, and nothing would ever be the same. The Valiant's sensors detected something that made the human crew tense. Far beyond CosmicAdventures, beyond the fleets that had come to watch humanity awake, a strange energy pattern pulsed across the void. It was faint but unmistakable. The humans had felt it before millennia ago, when they had vanished from the galaxy. Rhea Calder stood on the bridge, arms behind her back, eyes scanning the holographic display. "The Void Swarm," she said quietly. "It's returning sooner than expected." Valor's voice trembled. The Void Swarm? That's why humanity disappeared?" Rhea nodded. The elders didn't lie entirely. Humanity wasn't sealed away because of malice. We chose to vanish to prepare for this, to stop a threat no one else could fight. The aliens in orbit, observing the humans' calm determination, whispered among themselves. The elders had warned them, but they didn't know the reason. Now, it became clear. The humans had returned not for conquest, but for survival. And for the survival of the galaxy itself. Rhea turned to her crew. "We must prepare. Activate all war networks. Scan for ancient technology. Every planet humanity once touched may hold tools we can use." Atlas, the ship's AI, responded with its usual calm precision. "Understood, Admiral. Preliminary scans indicate multiple inactive human stations with defensive capabilities exceeding current alien fleets. Shall I begin reactivation protocols?" "Whoa. Yes," Rhea said. "And alert nearby alien fleets. Humanity does not fight alone unless necessary. But anyone who opposes the survival of life will be met with force." In the Zyra Collective's command orbit, Elder Thavik and Elder Kira watched the humans' preparations. Thavik's crystalline fingers drummed nervously. They are organized, precise, and they do not strike recklessly. We feared monsters, but they are not monsters. They are strategists, protectors. Lyra, still aboard the Valiant, glanced at Valor. "I never imagined humans would operate like this. They're perfect in command and logic. Yet there is something else. Something almost inspiring." Valor swallowed. "Yes, but terrifying too." The warning signals from the Void Swarm grew stronger. Ancient communications, once blocked by humanity, now pulsed faintly across the stars. The Zyra Collective finally understood why the elders had forbidden awakening humanity. It was not fear of humans, they feared the reaction of the galaxy itself. Humans returning would change everything. And now, it had. The first signs of the Void Swarm entered the outer system. Dark shapes moved across the void, energy draining stars as they advanced. Alien fleets attempted to engage but were torn apart by unseen forces. Ships vanished without a trace, their signals destroyed. Rhea's gaze hardened. "Prepare all defensive stations. Position fleets where they can retreat if necessary. Humanity has fought the swarm before we know their tactics. Today, we begin again." Atlas displayed tactical simulations, moving holographic fleets in real time. The humans had calculated every possible threat scenario. Alien commanders could only stare, astonished, as a single human warship orchestrated an entire sector's defenses. The first Void Swarm vessel entered sensor range. It was massive, black, and alive with destructive energy. Its approach threatened everything in its path. Human and alien forces alike trembled. Rhea stood at the command podium. The galaxy saw humanity as myths, as legends, as extinct warriors. Today, they will see what happens when legends return. With calm precision, the Valiant fired its first salvo not at the swarm, but to clear obstacles and prepare an optimal engagement path. Lasers cut through asteroids and debris, clearing the way for their tactical advantage. Alien commanders were stunned. Even the most experienced admirals had never seen precision like this. Valor watched, awestruck. They are dancing through battle, without even touching the enemy yet, Lyra added softly. It's more than skill, it's instinct. Humanity has survived countless worlds, countless wars. Their strategy comes from experience no one else has. As the Void Swarm closed in, the Valiant's AI activated its most secret systems. Ancient human nanoforges emerged from hidden compartments. They assembled drones, weapons, and defensive grids at speeds that alien science could not comprehend. Rhea addressed the alien commanders via secure communication. We will fight together if necessary. But understand this. The swarm will not negotiate. Retreat is not dishonorable. It is survival. Those who stand with us will see the galaxy live. Alien admirals hesitated, then slowly, one by one, began to align their fleets with the Valiant. Fear of humanity's power was real, but the knowledge that they were allies, not conquerors, inspired hope. The first clash was brief but devastating. Void Swarm vessels attacked in waves, attempting to overwhelm defenses. The Valiant responded with precise firepower. Energy beams struck with pinpoint accuracy. Drones intercepted projectiles. Strategic maneuvers predicted the swarm's attacks before they occurred. Within minutes, the first wave of Void Swarm ships was obliterated. Alien fleets, who had doubted humanity, now moved in coordination, guided by the Valiant's calculated commands. Valor gasped. They're winning. But it's only one wave. Rhea's gaze remained steady. There are always more waves. But humanity has endured worse. We fight with intelligence, not brute force. The swarm learns. But so do we. Hours passed. Each wave of the swarm tested humanity and their allies. But the humans' combination of technology, strategy, and instinct kept them ahead. Ancient human stations activated in sequence, creating barriers, traps, and ambush points across space. The galaxy had never witnessed such synchronized defense. The elders, watching from orbit, felt a mixture of fear and pride. Elder Kira whispered, "They were never meant to dominate, only to protect." Yet even now, their presence reshapes everything. Finally, a quiet moment arrived. The Valiant scanners indicated the lead vessel of the swarm, the Command Nexus. Massive and terrifying, pulsing with destructive energy, it was the source of the attack, and humanity knew what had to be done. Rhea turned to Valor and Lyra. "Prepare the tactical strike team. We take the Command Nexus, or the galaxy suffers unimaginable losses. Humanity's responsibility is to act when others cannot." Atlas responded. "Strike plan ready. Probability of success, 78%. Human crew effectiveness, 99%. Alien support effectiveness, 84%. Rhea nodded. "We will succeed. We must." The Valiant moved like a shadow across the battlefield, weaving through alien fleets and swarm vessels alike. The human strike team, piloting small but powerful craft, darted toward the Nexus, guided by the Valiant's calculations. The Nexus fired, energy rippling across space. Alien ships were pushed back, debris scattering. But the human tactics were flawless. Each movement countered the swarm's attacks, exploiting weaknesses invisible to others. Finally, the strike team reached the command nexus. With a coordinated assault of laser beams, drones, and guided missiles, the nexus was destroyed in a controlled explosion. Energy rippled across the swarm, scattering the remaining vessels. Silence fell across the battlefield. Alien fleets and humans alike floated in space, stunned. The threat was gone for now. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, but as saviors. Rhea Calder addressed the galaxy through communications channels. Humanity has returned. We fight for life, for survival, and for peace. The Void Swarm is gone, but vigilance must continue. Stand with us, or face the consequences of inaction. The galaxy listened in awe. The elders nodded in approval. Valor finally understood the truth. Humanity had never been a myth, a danger, or an enemy. They were the guardians the galaxy had long forgotten, returning at the moment they were most needed. In the aftermath, alien fleets realigned. Some pledged allegiance to humanity, some cautiously observed, and some retreated, humbled. But every species now knew the same truth. Humans were unpredictable, unstoppable, and fully prepared to defend life across the stars. Rhea stood on the command deck of the Valiant, looking out at the twinkling stars. "We were warned," she said softly, almost to herself. "But warnings do not define destiny. Humanity defines its own path. And we will protect the galaxy, no matter the cost." The Valiant hummed, alive with energy and purpose. The humans had awakened. The galaxy had learned fear, respect, and awe. And from that moment forward, humanity would never be underestimated again. The stars themselves seemed to pulse with anticipation. The galaxy had changed forever. Humanity was back. And they were ready.